Thank you, Rose, and thank you for coming out. It is exciting. Basketball season is here, and I know for our staff, myself, this is the time of year that we love, putting all the pieces together, kind of forming that team of what we're going to become. And this season, we are thrilled in the fact that we're going to have what we feel is going to be a lot more depth for us this season. Practices have been extremely competitive. We have a great blend between our experience of our vets coming back with some really talented freshmen. We bring back four of six of our leading scorers from last year, and Shai Sellers had a tremendous experience this past summer with USA Basketball, being able to play with them. We bring back Faith Massonis, ever steady, know what we can get from her, Brene Alexander, and Lavender Briggs. So a ton of experience that played really valuable minutes for us last year. We're also bringing in all ACC honoree Jakia Brown-Turner. All she does is win. She comes from a background 3 ACC titles, an Elite 8, and a Sweet 16 appearance in her college career. So we were thrilled to be able to bring back Jakia back home. We finally have 2 players that are back that are healthy in both Emma Chardon and Allie Kubik. And Allie is coming through for all CAA honoree from Towson, where she averaged 15 points and 6 rebounds, has done a tremendous job coming back from her injury, as well as Emma Chardon, who has had really, really impressive practices coming back into the fold. So one of our most improved players. I would say both her and Bri McDaniel has come back as one of our most improved. Bri spent all summer, you can see, just transforming her body. We're really excited about the jump that Bri has made now going into her sophomore season. So she's going to give us some really, really valuable minutes this upcoming season. Again, all of our freshmen have come in and are really talented, have worked extremely hard. So we're excited about the fact that they're going to be able to provide some much needed depth on our roster this season. This team knows they've got big shoes to fill, losing 2 first round WNBA draft picks in both Diamond and Abby. So this team understands it's going to be more collective, and it will be by team. I know they're excited because they've been waiting in the shadows, and so they're ready to accept that responsibility that comes with it. Definitely our schedule is going to prepare them. It's going to prepare us for March. We play 4 of the 7 Elite 8 teams from a year ago, 3 on the road, South Carolina, UConn, Ohio State. We've got Iowa coming in here. So when you look at our schedule, the first 6 games are really heavy Power 5 competition. And, there's going to be a lot that we're going to be able to show, from the jump in our season. So really looking forward to it, and I'll open it up to any questions.
Raise your hand for the mic.
Hey Brenda, just wanted to ask, obviously you talked a lot about the scoring and replacing Diamond and Abby, but what does it mean for the team on the defensive side of the ball? I think that you're adding a little more length with Jakia and obviously going to play kind of a taller lineup. So what do you think that this team's defensive potential is?
I think the sky's the limit defensively, and you just alluded to it. The length, first and foremost, that's been exciting to be able to watch how we can disrupt, we can dictate. We're very athletic, and then you add the component that we have some size back. When you look at Emma and Allie coming back into the fold, and you see the improvements that Ahawa is making every single day. She's one of the tallest players we've had in the building in a long time. So just that work ethic has been huge, and it's going to give us a lot on the defensive end.
Coach, right here in the middle. I was just wondering, you're talking about Shai, and she obviously made a huge jump, from her freshman year to her sophomore year, and now is going to be, even more kind of a focal point. I was just curious your thoughts on what you've seen from her that, in terms of her readiness for that kind of role and responsibility, both sort of on the court and off the court, as well as maybe taking on some more of those point guard duties.
Yeah, there's a huge responsibility on Shai's shoulders this season. And, this is something she's asked for throughout her entire career. So, she's been waiting, in the shadows and has watched from some tremendous talent in front of her. And there's going to be a lot of responsibility, within, handling the point guard duties, asking her to really have to do it all in terms of a point guard, scoring, defending, running the team. She's more than capable. She's shown that international experience she got this summer, allowed her to play against the best of the best. We're trying to get her in the best 40-minute shape she can be in without fouling to be able to keep her on the floor. But that's the maturation process that we're really excited about for Shai, is because she's had 2 great years and has kind of gotten thrown into it and is more than prepared for that next step in her development.
Coach, Wesley Brown with Inside Maryland Sports. What does it mean to bring back Faith Masonis? Not many college kids get to stick around this long, especially with the transfer portal and all that kind of stuff. But what kind of stuff does she bring on and off the floor, and what's her role going to kind of be this year?
It's huge. I'll say first, we have 4 grad seniors, so that experience is second to none. But you have a really special place in your heart for Faith Masonis. This is a player that has stayed, with us. She never entered the portal. It has gone through injuries. She knows our core values. If you came into our practice, she's the one every single day that you can count on. She's going to communicate for, the length of the practice every single day. Doesn't matter what's gone on. As she steps between the lines, she's ready to lead. And so it's invaluable to our staff, our program, and she embodies everything that you want your program to be.
Hey, Coach. Sorry. Last year, the freshmen, I know, took a little bit longer to get acclimated to the college level. So I was just wondering, how does this year's class compare? You've talked a lot about how they're, coming into practice hungry and everything.
Yeah. First and foremost, I'll say their work ethic is, they've come in and have put their head down and have really understood how hard they've got to work in the weight room as well as in practices, being able to be ready to match the intensity that it takes. I think it's also great, though. They've got, a lot of experience in front of them. So, when you talk about that maturation process, it's going to be there for them. Our schedule is really competitive, so they've got to be patient within that schedule. But at the same point, we need each and every one of them. The quicker they can pick up on plays and concepts and our defense and our offense and taking care of the basketball, and the sooner they're going to be able to provide that depth for us.
Hey, Coach, how you doing this morning?
Hi.
Last year we saw Renee Alexander and Lavender Briggs join the team, and as the season went on, find their legs and become big pieces of the run you guys made last year. With the roles changing this year, what type of leap do you anticipate them taking, and how their roles might shift?
The beautiful thing is every player has come back better, and as you speak about Brene and Lavender specifically, those two absolutely have come back and kind of they're settled, they're comfortable, they're confident. I think Brene's in much better shape than she was a year ago, so that's exciting with her ability. She's been able to add more on the offensive end as well as the defensive end. And for Lavender, she's healthy. A season ago she was still kind of coming off through hip labrum surgery and was never quite herself. And it's to see her bounce and her lift back. She's one of our best defenders and can really score the basketball. So, those two have been, patiently waiting. I'm excited to see them be able to have their opportunity this season.
Hey, Brenda, how you doing?
Hey.
I know every year a coach comes into the season thinking what the identity of the team might be based on, what has happened and what you see, what are you hoping that the identity of this year's team is going to be?
It's a great question. We talk about that a lot within our staff. And, we've always said we want to defend, rebound, and run. I think it's still early where we're kind of trying to still kind of understand what that's going to be. I think our schedule will kind of allow us to know that. I think we'll be a better rebounding team this season. We were undersized last year. All indications we've definitely have taken a step in that direction. And, we're going to have to be unselfish. So on the offensive end, we can score the basketball, but that unselfish play that led us to an Elite Eight last year is going to have to be there this year, because I think will be a little bit more by committee, where you're not going to have that Diamond, Miller, and Abby that you knew every single night was going to be able to give you at least 20. I think you'll have those nights, but I think it's going to be kind of spread out within the team.
You mentioned bringing in Jakia over the summer from
Yeah.
NC State. Kind of how would you describe her playing style for somebody who hasn't watched her? And what kind of role do you see her having on the team this year?
Jakia is going to have a massive role for us. She's been involved in practice. She can do a little bit of everything. She's a lefty scorer, can shoot the three off the bounce. I love she goes to the glass hard. So those rebounding numbers, I think she's a little different than Diamond in that way. She goes to the offensive glass and makes plays for us. And she's long on the defensive end, so she can really disrupt. So she's going to have a huge impact. Like I said, she's knows how to win. She's won titles. She's been to an Elite Eight. She's had that experience in her 4 years, and we're excited about the season she'll be able to have.
Okay. Over here, I'm Judith. I know it
Judith.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. I guess I know you guys have a lot of returners, so how does that help with team chemistry and yeah?
It really helps a lot. You have our captains, our four grad seniors, that experience. You have your returners with the Shy Sellers and the experience of your players coming back. They're really able to have a strong voice, and in the locker room, on the court, really being able to help bring along the freshmen, and just knowing what to expect. I think that's the big thing. When you look at a year ago, we brought in 9 new players, and so this season to have your 4 freshmen as well as your addition of Jakia, I think it just really helps with the experience factor.
Coach, you mentioned Bri as someone who's, I think you mentioned at Big Ten Media Day too,
Yeah.
as someone who you're sort of expecting to take, I think you even said the Shy Sellers jump from freshman year to sophomore year. What did you see sort of her doing over the off season that gave you sort of that confidence that she was going to come back a better player? And what have you seen in practice so far?
I think you saw with Bri last year, she just continued to stay the course. She put her head down, and when she wasn't playing early, she just kept working, and you saw that kind of unfold in February, March for our team. And she's made that jump. In the summertime, she went home, she was here, she came back. You look at her body is kind of redefined. She's kind of lost some of that freshman baby fat, and she's just, really, really both ends of the floor. Defensively, she's always been a really aggressive defender for us, and on the offensive end, she really knows how to put the ball in the basket. So she's going to absolutely be that spark for us. She's energy, and it's great to be able to see her as a sophomore kind of make those gains.
Brenda, you guys used, I think, it was 160-something lineups last year, a lot of different combinations, and you talked about the depth this year. Do you see that even increasing kind of, early in the season, figuring out what rotations look like? Does your staff already kind of have an idea of, what this type of year's rotations will look like?
I think rotations are starting to form. We have to because of what the schedule looks like so early, but that doesn't mean where we're going to be at in November is going to be where we're going to be in January or February. I love how competitive our practices have been. So it's staying the course, it's staying healthy, and having everyone continue to keep putting their head down and working. So I think there's some consistency right now that's flowing. But again, our staff does a phenomenal job when players are trending in certain directions and showing that consistency, whether it is in practices or games. Those lineups, we don't. Yes, we technically decide the lineups, but they're already deciding their lineups through their practices and their play.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey.
I'm doing well. Two questions for you. One is the sustained excellence of the Maryland program. That's something rare you see in the game. Just what does that attribute to your character of making this program one of the top in the country?
I think it's something we're extremely proud of. I think it's easier to get to the top, probably a lot harder to stay on the top. I think probably the way I was raised is just being consistent every single day. I hope it's a top-down mentality, and when you look at the incredible staff I have, support staff, it's the work ethic, it's the consistency every single day by your staff that allows your program to kind of have that level of excellence. They mirror it, and our players, we recruit the right players for our program that understand that.
And I know you believe in your young women, but I always tell people rankings don't matter. Do you have maybe like a chip or just extra motivation when it feels like teams or people just sleep on you or just doubt you?
Honestly, I'm used to it. I've shared with the team, and we know this, the ranking, preseason ranking means nothing. It's where you want to be at the end of the year. And last year, similar ranking. We finished number 5 in the country when the season ended and when it went to an Elite 8. So for us, it's the journey, it's the process of everybody has to come up with those rankings and vote. And you saw Alyssa Thomas didn't make MVP, but she to me had the most valuable season of anyone out there. So it really doesn't define what we do. It that's for others and people to write about. But for us, it's just continuing to be who we are in this journey.
And just want to sneak one more in there. Just a message for the young Terp fans that support this program as well.
We're grateful. I know we have great role models for them to be able to embody it and see every single day what it's like to put on the Maryland jersey, and for them just to continue to keep dreaming big. This is what our players, when they were young, they would, saw other role models like themselves, and you can accomplish anything.
Hey, Coach. Just curious, Maryland is one of 5 Big Ten teams ranked in the preseason top 25. Obviously you just said preseason rankings don't matter, but we all know that the Big Ten is one of the most stacked conferences in women's basketball. So what does that do for not only elevating your program, but also elevating women's basketball, having to play against these incredibly tough opponents, whether they're ranked or not?
Yeah. I love it. I think we should take credit since we've come in where this conference has gotten to, and you have those battles every single night. I think it comes down to great hires that have taken place within our conference. The recruiting has really improved, and I love the fact that every single night you're going to be in a battle, and you could be playing on paper what is the last place team, but they're going to compete. And if you don't bring your A game, you're going to get beat. So it all prepares you for March, which we saw last season. So it's remaining, through those highs and lows. If you beat one team, there's another ranked team that's going to be coming for you. So I love that our conference prepares you for March.
Time for 1 or 2 more.
Coach, you mentioned Diamond and Abby, and I know that throughout sort of your off season, you're saying hello to them at various points, whether it was the draft or seeing Diamond at Mystics game and things like that. Just what kind of pride do you as a coach take in seeing your program graduate all these players who are, successful pros?
a lot of pride. So many of our players come in here with the goals and the dreams that they want to play professionally. And so, our staff is very intentional in preparing them for what lies ahead. But to see that, to be up there on draft day and watch your two players go in the first round, just in general, and not even your pros, as your kids graduate from here and that next step, we're preparing them for the real world.
Coach, I know that obviously this year you guys have a lot of good mid-range shooters. I mean, Riley, Shai, Jakia, all have kind of excelled in that type of area. It wasn't as much of a shot profile last year. How much do you think that changes this year? Do you want that to become a bigger part of the offense?
Yeah, I think you've got to play to your strengths. So I definitely think if your game is your mid-range game, you need to play to that. If it's to shoot the three, you want to, that's why the makeup of your team is so different. You have, players that can get downhill and create to be able to get those kick-out threes for your shooters. But if your three ball isn't where you need to go, then you need to get to that mid-range game or all the way to the rim. So, it's playing off of your strengths, and that's kind of as a team where we're trying to get to in this, preseason.
Everybody, players and coaches are available.
Thank you.